The following graph shows approximate daily oil imports to the United States from Mexico. Also shown is the tangent line at the point corresponding to the year 2011. T is the years since 2000. Estimate the slope of the tangent line shown on the graph. What does the graph tell you about oil imports from Mexico in 2011? According to the graph, the rate of change of oil imports increasing, decreasing, or increasing then decreasing. Why? For the first part, we use the graph to estimate the slope of the tangent line. The tangent line at t equals 11 is drawn for us already. At t equals 11, the output is 1080, and this is 1000 barrels per day, but we're looking for the slope of the tangent line. Once we obtain a good tangent line at that point, and again, this is given to us already, we simply pick any 2 points on this straight line and compute the slope of this line to obtain the estimate for the slope of the tangent line. If the graph is given, usually we pick the 2 points that are at the intersection of the grid lines. But again, any 2 points on this line would do. The first point on this line is when t equals 9 and the output I of t is 1200. We pick this point because it is right at the intersection of the two help lines or grid lines here. We can pick this point, but again, we might have to figure out what the y-coordinate is for this point. Another convenient point is this endpoint when t equals 13 and the output is 960. The average rate of change is the change in the outputs over the change in the inputs. And so the change in the output or the change in the oil imports here is the ending amount 960 minus the beginning amount, which is 1200. And this will give us minus 240. Don't forget the negative sign. The change in the input or the change in time is 13 minus 9, which is 4. We need to be consistent here. If we call this as x1, y1, and this is x2, y2, and we take y2 minus y1, then we have to do x2 minus x1. For part A, the estimate for the slope of the tangent line is the change in I over the change in t, or negative 240 over 4, which will give us negative 60. The unit for this rate is 1000 barrels, which is the unit of the numerator, over the unit of t, which is time in year. What did the graph tell us about the oil imports from Mexico in 2011? In 2011, oil imports decreases by 60,000 barrels per year. That is what the graph tells us about the oil imports in 2011 only. If we move on to 2012, then this rate is no longer the same. For part B, according to the graph, is the rate of change increasing, decreasing, or increasing and then decreasing? To answer this question, we would trace the rate from the left to the right. Note that the question does not ask for the oil imports, but the rate of change. And the rate of change, by the definition, it is the instantaneous rate of change, or It is the slopes of the tangent line. And so to answer this question, we will need to look at the slopes of the tangent lines as we move from the left to the right on the graph. If we attempt to estimate the slope of the tangent line starting at t equals 9, then we will draw the tangent line to the curve, and we see that these tangent lines is getting less steep. It starts with a positive slope and then is decreasing until it gets to the peak of oil import when the slope is 0, and then the slope is getting negative because the curve is going down. Since the slope of the tangent lines tell us the rate of change, since the rates or the slopes are getting smaller and smaller, this tells us that the rate of change of oil import is decreasing.